All right, what is up? Today I'm finishing the day up $131.20. I gave back about 20 bucks off the top, about 3 paper cuts, 3 small losses in a row on SOPA at the end. I should have just walked away when I was at the high, but I don't know. I just couldn't help myself to keep trading. I thought this, could have squeezed out. That was my idea that I had. But at least I'm cutting my losers very small. So I was able to only give back. I was up 150 at the high. I'm at 130. So really, it's not a big deal, but it's just stressful, just to take a couple losses off the top. Let me export my data here and put it in the trader view. This may eventually squeeze later in the day, but right now I guess it's not ready. So we're going to stop trading here before start making more losses. Yeah, so I had right at the end here, $7 loss, $8 loss, and a $3 loss. Very small, but I need to stop there because I've already given back a decent chunk off the top. And that's just, it stirs up my emotions. Now I feel like I need to revenge this and try to make back to that 150. But, I've learned my lesson with that so many times that this is the sign that I need to stop here. So let's go through these trades here. Didn't trade much pre-market, mostly at the open. So let's start with SOPA since it's up here. So I traded four stocks, 3 different stocks. So SOPA. So this popped up on news, like an earnings news, and like a press release about its a revenue growth and cash on hand growth increasing. Formed a nice bull flag here. I should have gotten a little bit more aggressive, but I was in maybe about 400 shares or 500 shares. Added for the anticipation of the break of 142, which was the pre-market high. And I bought again at 240, 246, and scalped into the extension, and then I added on a dip, and then added more on this pullback here, looking for like a little bounce. A 1 minute pullback after a fresh breakout is usually a very good dip opportunity. And so I averaged in on this pullback and scalped for a couple cents on bigger size. And then here, I saw that, we might potentially break over that level. So since it did refuse to break down on this candle, I saw it being bought up off the bottom of the wicks. I just took a starter looking to add, and I took a couple cent profit and then added back at 62 for the breakout, but it just wasn't strong. It did break out, but then it reversed immediately. And then it formed another consolidation period, sort of bull flag. And then at the open, at any point it was sold off within the first 2 candles, it immediately reclaimed. So I took my first position on bigger share size, here 600 shares, and then added another 600, looking for that breakout, taking some off as it went higher. And then I added again at 73, which is at that breakout level, and we got a nice move all the way up. And I was able to take some off at 283, 276, 269, and 264. Then added on that first pullback after a fresh breakout. And the volume was continually turning shares, and I could see that the buyers were supporting this previous breakout level of 273. So I was adding for putting my stop at 273. Like a mental stop, looking for a potential continuation, adding again on this dip off the support of 273, almost exactly off that previous breakout level, bouncing, and I was able to take some more profits there. Then here I was kind of taking a starter position and then adding into it if, looking for a continuation move, but I wasn't very jumpy about thinking that we'd get a huge continuation move just because the market's still not strong. So still very managing my risk, taking 1 or 2 cent profit or 1 or 2 cent loss here and there. And then it flushes down. Thank God I'm not stuck in it. I took all of my position off here as it was showing weakness on the tape in the level 2. And here I was looking for a red, like a red to green or like VWAP breakout here, but I was in too early, held it too long, and then I was down 7 cents, and I figured I just had to cut it, and then it went back up, and then I bought back at 265 looking for that move, and then it rejects pretty hard, and then I had to take a loss again, and then here it reclaims VWAP, so I'm thinking this might squeeze again, and then it rejects again, and that's my third time, my third loss in a row, and I just needed to stop. I gave back about 20 bucks off the top. So it doesn't really feel good when you're giving back profits off the top. But if I were to keep trading, like, you're either in a scenario where you're going to keep making money or you're going to keep losing money. And at first, the first part of the day, I was making money, and I don't know, when I'm going to hit that point where I'm going to start giving back profits until I start having some losing trades. And right here, 3 back-to-back losses is just like evidence that I should stop trading here and walk away with my profits, because clearly the odds are no longer in my favor, or I'm fatigued, or the setup is not there's no quality setups anymore, and so that is evidence I need to walk away. But the good news is that the reason I'm able to walk away at such like near the highs of my day, so I only gave back 20 bucks, so that's maybe about 20 bucks off of 150. I gave back 20 divided by 150. I gave back about 13% of my profit on the day, which is very, very small. And the reason I was able to do that over the course of 3 trades, so that's 4% each, a 4% loss of my profits each, which is very, very small. And the reason I'm able to do that is because I'm only taking starter size until I see continuation. And by the time I do see continuation, it's more likely to be a winning trade because I'm adding into a winning position. So it's more likely to stay a winning trade rather than to flip on a losing trade. And so that's why I'm only taking starter positions before I see that confirmation, and I'm not adding until I see confirmation. And so if I don't see confirmation, like in this case, this case, and this case, I'm not stuck in a big position. If I were to add lower and, there would be no confirmation that this would be breaking out, no volume going into high, not holding this VWAP level with volume and super aggressive buyers bidding the price up and getting competitive, getting low prices. There's no sort of panic or eagerness to get in. I'm not adding into a position, and so if I were to add here on a trade that is not confirming, I would be in a bigger position, holding bigger risk, and I would be risking all of the profits that I've made on convincing high probability setups from earlier in the day, and that's what I don't want. I don't want to be leveraged in a position that is now risking the entire profit that I made on the day. I don't want that. I want sort of like in the period where you're do the best, according to your statistics, you want to be the biggest share size, the most aggressive, and most risky in that period, versus in periods where you're less likely to hit that home run or make consistent profits. And between 9 and 10 o'clock or so, more specifically between 9:30 and 9:45, are my highest probability setups, my highest consistency in making profits, and those are the times that I want to be pushing my share size beyond my comfort zone, getting a little bit more risky, maybe averaging down a little bit in anticipation of a bigger move, maybe doing that. Sometimes I do that, but because it's in a period where those setups will more likely to happen, I'm more confident in averaging down into a potential bigger move. So I'm taking on bigger risk during the periods where the setups that I excel at are most likely to happen. But if I was doing this at 10:30 outside of that window of time, I would be taking abnormally large risk for a very low possibility that my setup will work out. So my setup here would be a red to green and a squeeze through the high. So it would be squeezed through here, push there, and then kind of panic and start pushing the high and like maybe halt up and get really like high volume and very competitive in any sort of dips until the breakout of 285. That would be my setup, but since the market is not hot, at 1020, volume is decreasing, and this setup is not likely to happen considering the market and the volume. So I don't want to be in a big position here unless it's already making this move and there's high volume kind of around the open volume, so maybe over 1 million shares to 2 million shares per candle, 1 minute candle, then I would want to take bigger risk. But because it's a low volume, it's out of my time zone that I excel in, and the market is not hot, I do not need to be taking bigger share size. Really here I was looking to, there's a potential for a move, so I took a starter position, but because there was no confirmation, I didn't add into the position. If it pushed up here, pulling back and having volume up into the high, then I would be adding. That would be my confirmation. Similarly here at the open, after it dipped, I would be adding into a position higher because there's high volume and it's in a window of time where my setup will likely happen. So that's another kind of idea another like concept that you need to master is like managing your risk over a period of time as well. You don't want to have high risk level, like a level high risk across the whole day. You want to have, a period where you excel in. You want to have the highest risk at that point in time, the highest risk reward. And then when you know the time zones that you don't excel in or the time zones that your setup doesn't happen, then you need to adjust your risk accordingly through share size and through your stop loss or your mental stop. And then you also have to have your walk away point. You give back a certain amount of profits off the top, but you need to walk, especially after your certain time period has passed. What else did I trade here? I traded BTTX was the other one that I made some money on. I think I made like $40 on this. So I had a feeling this could break the pre-market high. You had a triple top here, so a lot of resistance, but we had bigger volume, and it pushed up to 255, and I was looking for a break of 255 for the pre-market high, and then it pulled back very aggressively, and I was in such a small size, so 300 shares is my position, only $600, so I was only down maybe $30. So my emotions, I was very comfortable with being down $30, and so I could see this chart logically, and I could see that, it's just going to be a small little pullback, a 1 minute pullback until we break the pre-market high. There's increasing volume, and you can tell on the tape when it dips below 247, the previous resistance point, which is now support, buyers are eager to get this low price. They're very quick to snatch up those low prices because they're anticipating higher prices. And so once I saw that, whenever the price dipped below 247, we'd have a huge flash on the tape of green. I could see the buyers present. And so when the buyers were present, I added to my position 500 shares. I more than doubled my position. And then I added higher, 253 for a push through 255, and in the extension I was taking off 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, and then holding a core position, which would be like maybe 200 shares for a potential pullback, then adding on the pullback looking for a move higher. However, in this case, we didn't get any continuation, so I did add back on the pullback, but because it was weak and it would dip back below 255 and didn't hold, I had to cut it. That is weakness. If it was strong, it would hold over 255 and then push higher. But because it broke down below and it closed underneath 255, the previous resistance, which is now support, support is not holding and sellers are now in control. And so that's why I cut it. and I walked away with a nice $58 in profit in like 1 minute. That's awesome. And then the other one was LOGC. I'll just review that quick. Kind of just scalping the front side here. Again, it's a penny stock. I'm not really good with penny stocks. I can never manage my risk enough because I can never judge whether the range is a lot or a range is a little bit, and or if I'm in a size in too small or too big. I can just never get that right feel on stocks under $1. So that's why, you know, I kind of just stick with just scalping, like a scalping technique rather than like a position, because I'm a little bit reluctant to be holding a position too long. I don't know, something about penny stocks. Something must have happened. You know, I took a big loss on a penny stock, and now I'm just like really nervous of trading them. So I kind of just scalped it, made like $4 pre-market, but that's nothing. But you know, every dollar I guess counts. So finishing the day up $131 on the day, pretty solid. Super happy with my performance given the condition of the market being very weak. You know, it's quite unfortunate that I gave back $20 off the top, but that's part of trading. If I didn't have those 3 losses, then I wouldn't know to walk away, or that I walked away at the right time. Because if I just stopped at the high, you never know. I could have kept trading. I could be a $200 day or $250 or $300 day, and I wouldn't know unless I would keep trading. And so just having those losses and giving back a little bit off the top shows me that, you know, I kind of milked the day as much as I could, and whatever opportunities I was able to capitalize on, that's going to be likely the only ones that will be able to keep me profitable. So it's good that I walked away at the time that I did. So that's it. See you guys tomorrow in the next day trading recap video, and I'll see you guys then. Peace.